I'm going to talk about a subject called But We Offered Them Jobs. And it comes up a lot of times during sweeps, anytime you talk about displaced people, homeless, whatever. You're always going to get people saying, But we offered them jobs. So I'm going to talk about some personal experience with this myself and from when I was homeless and even now. Okay, let me just fill you in on the last week. And I'm homed, okay? I have my housing through Shelter Plus Care. Hi, everyone. Um, so Wednesday I went for my infusion for arthritis. Today was to go for primary care to get my edema checked out, to get the psoriatic part of the arthritis checked out to make sure that that was still going, and to get the asbestos poisoning stuff going so that that can get all checked out. And then I had a glaucoma appointment and another appointment for some other, to get. It was in the same appointment. I also got my eyes things done for glasses. So I got the glaucoma check, my pressures looked at, and my visual field and scans of the optical nerve. But okay, so that's like a full medical thing. And that happens for me. 3 to 4 appointments is really a normal week for me. So it doesn't really matter how high functioning people think I am. That's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. And so the first question you're asked when, you're like spanging, panhandling, and people come to talk to you, if, they're going to ask questions, is why don't you have a job? And number one, it's very hard when you're dirty. Employers expect a certain level of decorum from their employees. Number one, usually an address and a phone number. Those are good starting points. Forms of ID. That's another big one. Okay? Those right there are pretty much, those are job things. Like, you need a form of ID. You need to have a good shower. You need an address and a phone number. If you don't have those things, they kind of just are like, well, whatever. Okay, so say for some wonderful reason, which I did at one point, have all those things, and I thought I just got guilted into, like, I was spanging and everybody like, you get a job, you get a job, you could be working, you get a job. And at this time I was going through 5 or 6 medical appointments a week, neurorehabilitation, and I had applied for a job. And I was very lucky and very grateful that I ran into the employer I did, and he didn't care that I was homeless or any of that. He did ask, what about the cleanliness? And I was like, I have ways that, I have a running stream by my camp and I can get clean and things just like I am now. And until he heard I was brain injured. And he knew what that meant. He had a friend that had frontal lobe injuries like I do. And so he knew what multiple traumatic brain injuries can do. That one moment you're fine, next minute, there's some issues. So, we really discussed that, and he understood. And he really helped when he discussed it with me take away some of the guilt I was feeling. And it made it clear, just like my medical people had made it clear, that I needed to focus on my medical. And that's what I needed to focus on at that moment. And I keep seeing it, and I see people putting it in comments, we offered him jobs, we offered him jobs, we offered him jobs, they turned down the jobs. I had to too. And then when people did offer things that it was silly, like, spend your time for 25 cents an hour or do this or do that. And it's like, I don't have the time, nor can I do it, or I'm not going to let you take advantage of me like that. I'm worth more than that. And I have people to take care of that I would rather spend my time taking care of than be running around promoting, honestly, some of the nonprofits for free, because it's like homeless advertising. Just gotta throw that out there. Um, it's this lack of understanding how, you know, it was just brought to my attention that this is really the focus of people. Like, they really think that people are sitting out there like, I just don't want to work. and that strikes me as funny because it's so much work just to survive. And even now, you know, I spend my spare time studying and researching on how to fix a crisis and working on, giving to others, making sure that we've got enough supplies and donations coming in so that we can distribute, supplies to those that are still living out there, and, making systematic changes through my company. And, you know, there's always something that we can do, but, not everyone is suited to work for an employer. Some of us have real difficulties. And this whole, if they just had a job, it would be fixed. I'm sorry. It doesn't work that way, okay? When people are displaced, there is a trauma. That is, if you become traumatized, okay? You lose everything. Heart and soul. You're traumatized. And you need care. Hi, everyone. You need care. And it's medical care you need. And somebody had asked me a question the other day, and they'd said, are people with psychological disorders more likely to be homeless? And I said, the problem with that question is that when you become homeless or displaced, you have a tendency to get psychological disorders because you will most definitely get physical disorders and psychological disorders just from the trauma. Being exposed to the elements, losing everything you have, being displaced causes trauma. You have to recover from that. It isn't as simple as getting a job. If it was, we wouldn't have the humanitarian crisis we do now. There are ways we can help people. There are ways that we can lift people up. But shutting them out of our communities is not the answer. People are only displaced until they're not. And then there are neighbors. Then there are friends. They're just people. And I just wish people could see that. There is no difference. We are all human beings. And we all deserve the same respect. And poverty does not equal morality. Laziness does not equate with poverty. There is a broken system, and we need to quit blaming it on the people that are getting hurt by it. So that's what I have to say about that, and I hope I have explained some of the employment challenges. There are many more, but I just hope I touched on a few. And I hope that some of you, when you're faced with this and someone says, we offered them jobs and this is what we did and they didn't accept it and all of this, you can meet them with this knowledge of saying, wait a second, and take that in and educate maybe them on Maybe they shouldn't snap to whether that person could or not, or whether they had the ability. View with our whole being, our cognitive selves, rather than with our eyes. Take it in and really just think about it. So, anyway, I hope you all have a beautiful night and a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you later. Bye.